Hi everyone, welcome back, and I'm here with Ryan from Feather and Finch. So today we're back for part 2, where we're going to be speaking about the best way to get your value out of your wedding photographer. Tell us a little bit about ways that we can get the best value.
For sure. I think the first thing I want to cap on there is build a relationship with your photographer. So first off, you hopefully have chosen a photographer that you're really comfortable with, that you feel like, you can share these moments with. And then next is building the relationship with them. So you don't have to be having dinner with them every night, but it's really knowing their story, knowing what it is that they do and why it is that they do it. And sharing things about your family and sharing things about what makes you, and I think that really translates to a wedding day, because you've got this person obviously that you're now comfortable with. So when that person arrives to photograph the guys getting ready for, say, it's not just, oh, the photographer's here, what are we supposed to do? It's maybe, oh, Ryan's here. How cool, and that's my biggest thing is the whole thing about building a relationship is so when I walk in, I am within that circle and I'm not so much of an outsider trying to, take photos from people. And then I think the next thing is just losing expectations. So hopefully you've chose a photographer because of course, you love their photos. But the thing is, just losing expectations, being in the moment and just allowing the day to flow, not trying to put in because someone else did this or they got this type of photograph on their wedding day. It's our wedding is unique and it's our story and it's going to be told.
And be open to ideas. If a photographer says, go hop on that swing over there, or, I'm just going to hold your veil up in the air and it looks really odd. It's for a reason, because obviously you're shooting through a lens. It doesn't give you the whole image that you see obviously standing on the day. So you're obviously getting this unique photo opportunity that you guys have more of an insight to, of course.
Yeah, I think, again, elaborating on that, it's once you choose a photographer because you're comfortable with that person, you know the work that they produce, and therefore if they give you a little bit of direction, a little bit of help, it's from experience. So a lot of the time, if I'm going to give direction or I'm going to explain why. So if I say, hey guys, let's keep the beers, of course we're going to keep drinking, but let's just do it over here. I'll take a photograph and then show the guys and they're like, I get it. That's why we're here doing it in this room. And it's not that I'm changing the vibe of the day or I'm making people do anything that they don't want to do. It's just I'm trying to produce the best photographs that I can and document that time.
And that's, of course, what you want from your photographer and, your special day photos.
For sure.
You want something a little bit unique, a little bit different, but obviously capturing that moment that you feel, secure and you're happy.
And I think as well, going on about getting the most value, obviously selecting a photographer that's got experience in that venue, right? So there's sometimes when photographers may not have photographed at a venue before and they also can be caught out. So knowing times of sunset time, which is so simple, you just go on Google. If you're getting married on this certain date, put it in Google and put in the location and Google's going to tell you the time of the sunset.
Absolutely.
There's a big thing that I always say is that, knowing the time of sunset, you can structure the run sheet with the coordinator and the venue and the photographer to make sure that you're not crunched for time. Say it's a 5 p.m. sunset, hopefully the photographer you've chosen is all over it, or the coordinators, and you're having a 4 p.m. ceremony. Well, there's things that have to be considered here, 4:30 finish. Then you got group photos and they may go till 5 o'clock.
Absolutely.
So when the sun's gone. There's generally no more portraits happening. Yeah. And that's cool. You may not want, an hour of photos or half an hour of photos. That's great. But these kind of considerations need to be made, especially before the day. So you're not feeling like you're getting dragged from this place to this place, all from a simple Google check of what time sunset, and then maybe bringing that ceremony earlier.
Especially for winter. Winter weddings definitely need to have an earlier time slot
100%.
Just because of that, obviously that daylight.
Yep.
I know we have also had weddings in the past that have actually decided to, go and use those sunset photos while their dinner's being served to the other guests, or they've eaten their meal and they'll duck out and just do a couple shot just so they can get that capture, the beautiful daylight during the day, but then also the sunset photo in the late afternoon. So then they're getting the best of both worlds.
100%. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Light is the biggest thing when it comes to that. And also another thing that pops up when I talk about how to get the best value out of your photographer, it's remember that if you don't like getting your photograph taken, I'm a guy, I don't like having my photo taken. It doesn't matter how many weddings I photograph, it's true. Like, I don't like it. And I always say to people, the photo made of yourself is actually not for yourself. Like, if I took your photo, it doesn't matter whether you like that or not. In the end of the day, the photo made of you is for the other people. Yes. It's for your loved ones.
And it created a memory.
100%. And like, being a guy, like I said, I don't like my photo taken. I speak to the grooms that I photograph, and I always say that in the end of the day, like I said, the photo of you is not for you. It's for the loved ones that are left. Unfortunately, reality is when you're gone. Yes. And that's when we can step outside of our present moment and realize it's a bigger picture. You do this wedding and you've got this budget and all of that, but you hopefully have done like a priority list so that the venue's priority, photography's priority, music maybe priority, and all the other things can kind of fall into place, right? Mm-hmm. But when we have an idea of how we should look or should stand, or how our friend looks in her wedding photos or his wedding photos, we think it's got to be this way. And like I said, if I had my photograph taken, I wouldn't print my own photo and put it in my wallet. But I know my son would, my wife would, and my loved ones would, and especially if that's all they ever had left. So just guys, like a recap on that is, make sure that you just remember that the photograph of yourself is actually not for yourself, and that'll help you feel comfortable knowing that you can just be you on the wedding day.
Absolutely. And go with the flow. If the photographer says try something, give it a go, because it actually probably will turn out to be probably your favorite photo. Yeah. Something, Ryan, you spoke about a moment ago is timing. Obviously, especially losing light, timings. What about venues that have multiple locations and getting those different location shots?
Yeah, 100%. My jam is I love staying on the location, right? I think a big thing is, like, of course, you can get venues where, you go off and do the reception here and the ceremony here. But the problem is it's so structured that you've got to coordinate, like, logistics of driving and photographer, and you're losing the story.
And you've also got your bridesmaids and your bridal party, your groomsmen with you, so you're not just transporting generally the bride and groom. There's also another 10 people with you, so they have coordinating 10 people plus yourselves, trying to get them in the same location does slow things down.
100%. And I always say, like, you chose the venue for the reason, so why are we leaving? You know what I mean? Like, you've fallen in love with this place, you've hired it for the day, it means something to you. So we're photographing there. If you really want photos on a hill, do them another day. You've got the dress, you've got the suit. You know what? Like, don't run away from your guests and run away from your family for 2-3 hours. It's just, that's great if you want to do that. It's just not my vibe. I'd rather do 10 minutes of photos on the venue and then let people enjoy the food that they've paid for and the drinks, and just be with everyone, because that's the photos I know they're going to look back on and go, wow, that's so mum. Look at us. Like, we're communicating together. I got a beautiful photo of that.
Okay, so recap for today on best value to get out of your photographer.
So if I want to recap, definitely build a relationship with the photographer. Don't be scared to take a little bit of direction. Hopefully you chose the person for that reason. And realize that lose all your misconception of what you're supposed to look like in a wedding photo. Remember, it's a day to just enjoy, be present with one another, and let the day just be photographed how it's supposed to be.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and obviously thank you to Ryan from Feather and Finch. So that was today for part 2, so please tune in for part 3 coming up soon. So please stay in touch with us, like, subscribe, comment below, and we'll pop Ryan's details in there as well for you.